the object is not the main point of telekinesis, and it shouldn't be. This video is a reference to my video that I recorded before, so check it out and let's move on. So let's say you have this one object that you're trying to work with, and while doing telekinesis, you just focus so much on it and it never works. You put all of your energy to focus on the object, to focus on the texture, to focus on how it looks like, to just transmit your whole attention into it. And for some reason, it never works. And it's kind of obvious for me why. Because practice of telekinesis is never just about the object. You have to remember that. Let me explain something. Everything is connected, okay? Consciously, energetically, there is no way something would exist if it wouldn't be connected to everything. It's a very simple logic. It's a very simple thinking, okay? The tree cannot grow if it doesn't have the access to the ground, to the water. Everything is connected. Everything works and lives through each other. Nothing will grow without water. We would not be alive if we wouldn't be merging ourselves with water, with food, with light, with, vitamins, whatever. Like, we are not an individual people. We are not individual subjects. We are not individual objects or anything at all. We are never separate from everything. We are always connected to everything, just as everything else is connected to us. Everything that we do every day, everything that is around us, is always overlaying with us. Physically, energetically, mentally. Like, you can sometimes tell when you're energetically affected by something. It's on all levels. We are always affected by something. We are always merging with something. That's why also it's so important for empaths to, for example, protect themselves, But either way, we are always connected with everything around us. Even temperature, like, God, everything affects us. Like, everything is connected to us. Everything has to be connected to survive, to have this connection, conscious connection, energetical connection, physical connection with something. It would be really alive. Someone would say that they are independent from everything. You're never independent from something. There's always something going through you. Either way, with that type of thinking, with that understanding we gain through that right now, you can now understand that for something to move, it has to be affected by something. It has to be connected to something. So to do telekinesis, you have to understand that there are certain things that have to be connected in that process. And in that case, the more things are connected, the better. So you have to be connected with the object, and all the things around have to be connected with it. Because, let's be clear, nothing can move if it's not being affected by something. There has to be something affecting it. Or even the movement affects the things around it. Like, for example, air particles, okay? The surface it's being on. Like, anything. It even moves the shadows behind it. It moves everything behind. So the more you are focusing only on the object in telekinesis, the more you are separating it from everything that is affecting it from around. So the more you're actually making it not work by focusing only on the object itself. You're basically putting like a big line between the objects and yourself and the environment around it. And obviously it will not work. There's no right for anything to exist unless it is connected to something. So if you want to do telekinesis, you have to focus on everything around it that surrounds it. You have to focus on the visualization, the mechanism behind it, which is, if the object moves, everything is moving behind it. All of the energy is moving. the light, the air particles, the time is also moving, like everything is moving behind it. So the more you are connecting it into the reality, the more it is gonna be working, the more connected you will feel, the more in the moment you will feel. That's why in my last video I said that it's so important to feel present in a moment, because the more present you are, especially physically in a moment, the more connected you feel to the environment and physical phenomena and energy around, especially, the more you are able to affect it. Because if you're not connected to it, you're also separating yourself from the whole reality and whole environment and whole phenomena going around. So the way to do telekinesis is to connect to it, connect to yourself, connect to environment, and connect to an object, connect to everything around, like literally everything. And by it, I don't mean you have to, have everything in mind. You don't have to, as I said, have in mind the fact that it moves shadows or air particles or, all of that. But what I mean is to have an understanding. If you have an understanding, you don't have to have knowledge. It's very simple. I love telekinesis for the simple fact that the moment you understand it, you don't need anything else. Understanding is so good because it's literally intuition. It's intuition regarding knowledge. So when you have an understanding about something, it's the knowledge that's being driven from understanding and not the understanding being driven from knowledge, which is like you have the whole source within you when you have an understanding. So if you're watching this video and you already have like a point of understanding of it, you don't have to remember about all this stuff. It's enough that you just have this intuition about it and you have now the understanding of it. And that's why also I said that it's not only important to feel physically, but also energetically. Because the moment you feel already the energy of something, you feel the presence of something, the moment when you are present, and the moment you feel the presence of everything around you, you don't have to point it out. You don't have to point all of the elements of the presence and everything that is present, because you already feel, you already understand this presence being there. So you don't have to point it out. You don't have to learn it, memorize it, what is there. If you already feel it energetically, if you already feel the presence of something, because it's actually quite the same thing to feel something's presence and something's energy. At this point, you don't need anything else. Just remember, don't separate anything, because nothing can be affected while it's separated from something that affects it as well. So if you're doing telekinesis, you have to be connected to the object. Object has to be connected to the environment, just as you have to be connected to the environment. In your head, while doing telekinesis, everything has to be present exactly as it is in the reality. Because, hey, you're trying to affect literally the reality. And if you're cutting off the parts of that reality, it's like an error in the program you're trying to write as a programmer. Like, of course, it's not gonna work because it doesn't have the physics of it. Okay, I hope this video was helpful. I hope it gave you some insight. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more content like that, make sure to subscribe, and have a great day.